I had it on my heart. I was driving down the road and it was like having deep conversations with people that like know how to think a little different, know how to like, let's dive into this and let's actually talk about some subjects that really matter in life. Let me introduce you to Eric. Eric is one of my favorite people in the whole entire world. We met through a networking event. He sells guns and ammo, knives. He does concealed carry classes, all the things. See, I,
Yeah.
I know what you do. What else you do?
Always make time for the Lord.
Yeah.
I am very active in my church. I am a deacon in my church, and along with that, it gives me a lot of responsibilities
Yeah.
in not only um, protecting the church and taking care of the church, but taking care of our lay members as well.
So I asked Eric, let's talk about something real, but don't tell me until it's go time and don't take it easy on me.
Yeah,
So I didn't want to be prepared. I wanted it to flow and be truth and honest and unbiased.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Give it to me.
Okay. All right. After you had asked me that, I started kind of jotting down some things. And there's actually four topics that I wanna touch on.
Yeah.
Okay. Four
Yeah.
topics. And these four topics can possibly help someone. I'm really praying that it helps someone. So the first thing, very simple. Um, so Ashley, you know kind of my background in what I have a passion for. My very own business is dealing with ammunition, firearms, and things of such. First off, I am not an attorney, and I am definitely, I would say, I'm I'm an expert in my own right, but there are far more better people out there that know as much information. So I may not know it all,
Yeah.
okay, but I will share what I do know. And the first topic is personal protection versus home protection.
Mm.
Is there a difference in personal protection and home protection? What do you think?
Yes, there's a difference to answer that question. When I think of personal protection and home protection, I think this is like old TV kind of stuff where they like pull out and they got this big old gun. And then but when I think like a hunting gun rifle or whatever, but when I think personal protection, I think concealed carry on me out and about. Um, so that's how I see it differently.
Yes, yes. And you're exactly right. There is a difference. And you're spot on. So let's start with personal protection. Personal protection, that is a protection that or a tool that you may have with you, I would say at all times.
Mhm.
Typically, it would be something a little smaller. And I would say, even on the personal protection side, there are things that, even without the tool itself, um, it has to start here. It,
Mm,
it,
yeah.
it has to start in our minds that um, I'm going to be vigilant about where I go, what I do. I'm going to keep my eyes open. I'm not going to walk around with blinders on. I'm going to make sure that whatever I do, I'm I'm always going to be mindful of what I do.
Look, I was being a good student, right? I took y'all Eric's concealed carry class, which I highly recommend. But in that, like when you're talking about the mind and where your mindset is and all of that, we, yes, you'll have this tool, but it's not for you to go out there and run your mouth and cause a situation to use the tool.
That's right. You're exactly
So
right.
being vigilant of that as well. Like you say, what kind of situations are you putting yourself in? Well, sometimes that's one thing. Sometimes you create the situation.
And Ashley, it could even be places that we go, environments that we kind of place ourselves in.
Mhm.
And even though you know that you have that tool, you have to have the right mindset and the right training and the right experience to use that tool.
Hmm.
Because if not, it's just a tool,
Right.
and it is a very dangerous tool,
Hmm.
and it could be something that can change either your life or someone else's life. Even with having the right mindset, we have to make sure that we have a plan,
Hmm.
okay, and rehearse that plan, not walk around flashing your gun everywhere type plan, but have that plan in your head. If this happens, what can I do? What should I do? Um, and not only just having that plan, stick to your plan and execute your plan.
Right. I remember you telling us that, like, if your wife, if something were to happen to her, she's ready, right? Like
Yes,
you
yes,
guys
yes.
go out, she knows her gun well, like you have her do these little drills or whatever, and I'm like she knows we don't ever know the exact situation, but
That's
she
right.
has that comfortability as well as the okay, so this is what I'm legitimately supposed to do, but I'm also comfortable with my tool as well.
You're going to have loved ones that are going to be around you in so many cases. My wife knows exactly what to do. I'm always going to if there's an opportunity, I'm always going to pull the threat away from her.
Hmm.
So even though we go out to Walmart, we go to different places, and if we're in a setting and she just happens to, we're standing in line or whatever, and I just kind of walk off, she knows to not question that. And if something wants to go down, I can kind of take care of that situation versus bringing that situation um, to both my wife and myself,
Right.
because she can fully protect herself.
That's got me
Yeah.
thinking, like, for the boys, because I have Justin and Jackson. And so having that plan, like if I ever snap at you, like, because they know that snap, they know Mama snap, they listen
Uh-huh.
for that. If I
Uh-huh.
ever snap at you and go like that, get down. And but that's I never even thought about that before, like
Yeah.
having that plan for those people that are around you most often.
Let's kind of flip it to home protection. Um, even though we're in our home, and our home should be our castle. It should be that place to where nothing, once I get home, I have no more fears. But even though I am home, suppose something happens and we both hear the door being kicked in. Well, if I am the only one in the home that has any type of structured training, know
Hmm.
how to use a firearm, but guess what? I may not have it while I'm sitting on my recliner.
Right.
Now I have to get up. Well, my wife is in the bedroom.
Hmm.
She should know just as much as I would know.
Mm.
If she didn't know just as much, she needs to know something. Because so often, the it's stated that the man should be the protector of the home. Well, suppose there's not a man present.
I remember when I was little, they had the fire truck come and they were like, draw your plan on here of how you're going to get out the house if there's
Yeah,
a fire. And we were supposed to go home and share that with our parents. Like, this is what we're going to do.
yeah,
Even-
yeah,
They probably expect our parents should have done it with us, but you just don't think of everything, right? And I love that we're having this conversation for people to think of it. But hey, if you know, my boys are still young, but there are things they can know and there's things that they can do. And I like this because I look at John and I'm like, you know what? He knows the gun things. He was a police officer,
yeah,
he's in the army. He knows the
yeah,
gun things. But one thing we've never really done is had that communication of, if this were to happen.
yeah. And thinking about that, the different firearms, some are very practical and some are not. I really, really, really enjoy. I enjoy guns, and I don't enjoy them to the point of I'm just obsessed over them. But I like different things, and even as you saw in class, I like to share different styles and different firearms. and some are just not practical. Um, just because it's the hottest thing out or the newest thing out, that doesn't make it practical.
I
There's two
learned
ends of
this.
the spectrum. Yes, you did.
I learned this. Yeah, because I have, and I like that you say, that just clicked in my brain for me because personal protection and home protection, I have a 357 that I love and that I'm comfortable with. That's why I want to keep it around because I'm comfortable with it. But now that you say it, personal protection doesn't have to be this big old long, I mean, the home protection doesn't have to be this big old long firearm.
That's
But in
right.
my case, I learned this lesson from you that I wanted to carry my 357 on me. And you're like, okay, Ashley, we'll do what you want to do. And when I put the holster on, it like was turning over, like it was too heavy, right? And
Yeah.
had my pants all turned crazy. And but because I was comfortable with that gun, so it doesn't necessarily home protection doesn't necessarily have to be a big gun. In my case, we're looking at guns. If you hold them, they're essentially kind of the same size. One
Yeah. Yeah.
was
Yeah.
just super, super heavy compared to the other. If you had one gun, you could only pick one out of all the ones that you have, one for personal protection and one for home protection. Which ones would you pick and why?
So I have for let's start with home protection.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to leave my bedroom to know where that noise came from. You kind of know your own home. You
Right.
kind of know about how far distance different noises are. So if I'm in my home, then I have what I call it's a Stoger. It's made by Stoger, and
Okay.
it's a stagecoach gun. It is a double barrel, very short stock, and it's the same style as what they used to have in the Western days on stagecoaches, right? They're very
Yeah.
short. Um, Loaded with buckshot. And, as I've always told my wife, you don't have to go out looking for whatever's in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Our walls are made of sheetrock.
Mm-hmm.
We can always patch the walls.
Yeah.
So don't go out looking for what's there because it's going to scatter. But for my everyday carry, um, I have a Springfield XD 40, and it is a yeah, high capacity magazine, and it fits me. I do a lot of training with that particular gun, so I don't have to wonder where's my safety. Where's
Mhm.
I it's a I could do everything to that one firearm blindfolded.
Right.
That's just how confident I am on that one.
And getting comfortable like that, I think that's a big thing because you can go get you, it gives you a false security when you go get the education, like if you have a concealed carry, or even if you have, I don't know, like say John in the line of work a long time ago where he hasn't
Yeah.
used guns recently, we can gain a false security of our comfortability or our knowledge with guns.
If we are ever faced with a situation, um, we have to we have to think really, really quick. Um, and the two things will be: do I need to shoot or do I want to shoot?
Mm.
Wow,
Mm. Uh,
wow. I've heard so many out of being an instructor. I hear a lot, and I help. Education is my thing, right? I want to make sure that we're fully educated on our definitely our rights, but definitely the gun laws as well.
yeah,
Um, you know, if someone kicks in my door, um, can I shoot? Of course I can, because they just kicked in my door.
yeah.
But do I need to shoot?
Mm.
So um, there's been a lot of controversy around that.
My grandmother was just talking about this yesterday or the day before. She said, Ashley, there was in Florida, somebody had broken in and the guy shot him, and the governor, I don't know who it was,
Uh-huh.
somebody and some official was like, good job, get him. But it happened in New York, and the guy shot him, and now he's in jail. And
Yeah.
so, how important it is to actually know those laws. But
There was a gentleman. Um, he called an Uber. Um, he gave the Uber driver. He was leaving a club. Of
Mhm,
course, he was intoxicated.
mhm,
He did the right thing by calling an Uber. So the Uber, he gave the Uber his address. And at the address, he dropped him at the correct apartment complex,
uh-huh.
but at the wrong apartment.
Uh,
So he went up to the door and he just knew he was at home. He's trying to get into the door,
right.
and the homeowner shot him. He wasn't a threat.
Hmm.
Of course, he was intoxicated. He's fumbling with the keys and the doorknob, and
Right.
it's not working. And he's thinking, "I know I'm home." And he was shot and killed. And my last topic would be some type of legal coverage. If you have a tool that has the power to take a life, why not have some type of legal insurance?
Yeah.
I mean, because you're legally liable.
Right.
I have partnered with this company, Right to Bear, and I have did a lot of research on these folks. I'm fully covered. Not only am I covered, if I had children in the home under the age of 24, they would be covered. And my wife is covered.
Yeah. And I would imagine that insurance is not high.
It is not high. It is not high. What it does for you is you'll always have a attorney on retainer.
This company, the right to bear, is it just like gun coverage that they do, or is it insurance beyond that for the
Um,
legal stuff?
Weapons only, weapons
Okay.
only. And it doesn't say just guns, because it could be any weapon.
Right.
It could be a brick.
Mm.
It can be my Yeti mug right
Could
here.
be these guns right
It
here.
it could be those guns. Yes, it could be. It could be any
Yeah.
weapon, and you're
Okay.
covered. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So I you hear things all the time, and it's reassuring when somebody actually knows their stuff. It's kind of like with coaching. Anybody can become a coach. Like today, you could be a coach if you want to be a coach. It's
yeah,
not like you require a doctorate or anything. But when people actually go get the education to do what they're doing, how it completely changes everything about it. And we hear so much about guns and how it goes right or how it goes wrong.
yeah.
And yet I don't feel like it's taken very seriously at all by a
Yeah,
lot of
I
people.
feel the same. I feel the same. I would challenge individuals to get some type of education, and it doesn't have to come through me. Just get it
Right.
somewhere about what can we do, and how can we better our own community.
I know somebody that they got a gun probably 40 years ago, and I'm pretty sure they've never shot it, but they are fully confident if something happens,
Yeah,
nothing will go wrong.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They
They're
don't,
walking with blinders.
right. But they probably don't even know if it has a safety on it, right? And you go to shoot it, that's not the time that you don't want your gun to work.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
If you were walking out of this place tomorrow, this
Mhm.
world, and you got to leave one drop of advice, what would it be?
Um,
Any subject in life.
any subject in life.
Hmm.
So I would say, um, take a closer look at where you are in life right now, and what is most important at death
Hmm.
should be the most important in life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And what I mean by that is, if so I'm very comfortable. I have a relationship with God, and if he's going to be all that I think about whenever I know that he's coming for me, and
Uh-huh.
I know that, this could be my last breath, those should be the things that I focus on in life. I
Uh,
shouldn't wait till the end. Um, to focus on him.
I saw this thing the other day in it, or a sermon, and it had a measuring tape, and it had
Yeah.
it pulled. He was standing on one end of the platform, and he had a friend hold it at the other end of the platform, and he said, "Y'all, we're worried about this," and he marked off the first 2 inches.
Yes,
We're
yes,
worried about this, but we got all of that, and we're not putting, like, we've got all of our time and attention into this. Well, I appreciate you, and uh,
yes,
I'm looking forward to doing this again some, because I know people have tons that they could learn. And today we just kind of
yes,
talked on firearms, but there's more. If you want to get in touch with Eric, he is with Patriot Supplies.
yes.
And how can they reach you?
They can reach me on Facebook at Patriot Supplies LLC, or under Eric Faison on Facebook as well.
Perfect. All right. And you can always reach out to me and I'll connect you as well.
Sure enough.
All right, friends. We'll see you soon.